So now that you saw with the lines the concept and how to map, how to create the demand and supply zones, so let's take a look here on the real charts, right? So, okay, so let's start here with a blank chart, and we can see that price was making lower lows. Remember, like this small structure are all like internal, and we have the swings. So here price didn't break that, so that was still this strong high, weak low. Price broke here again, and we had a pullback. So this was still the weak low, and that was the strong high after we had the break here. So boom. Okay, I'm not gonna be going all the way up there, because like we're just gonna be focusing on the like more recent price action. Like that's how you would, if you would start like today doing the analysis, like back there it doesn't matter anymore. So after we made the swing low here, after the break of this weak low, so this would be the strong high, weak low again. So price, we came here, tried to break once and it couldn't, went all the way up, and then now we had a swing low again. Okay, so let me just delete these. Okay, so let's just start with this most recent price action. So let me mark this as our swing, right? So just continue with the swing lows and the swing highs. Okay, so here price encounter a very strong demand. So if we remember our section on chalks, so we can remember that this, like when we especially when we have a sidebar, which makes it so so much easier to see. So this was a pullback, then we had a fractal break. So when we broke this high here, we had a bullish chalk. Okay, so this is a very good sign that we can maybe start like see how extensive the push is. So this could be a very good sign that we could like start to see a bigger pullback. Okay, so we had the first chalk here, and but we still, right, we could. So remember, like how do we map the demand and supply zones? So it's usually with a single candle, or a buy to sell or sell to buy, or like a sidebar, right? So I want you guys to like think about like how to mark these zones the same way as the lines. Remember, like we had the push, pullback, push, pullback. Okay, so let me leave this here for a second. So like when you're marking, like remember that the next candle, like the push came from this zone here, this area, correct? But like remember that the next candle where the push was, like you see like the push from here. So like this candle, let me zoom in a little more. So the candle, like this next candle, has to break below the previous candle, which would be this. So like if we mark this, for example, right, you can see that let me mark this. You can see that this next candle didn't close below this candle. So like then we move to the next candle. Okay, so now this candle, it closed below this candle. All right, so like when I was talking about like this line here, remember that like about the waves of the market, you know, like the structure, how it moves. Okay, so like even though if it's a small, I mean internal or like fractal, we gotta see the movements of the market, right? So like you can see here, like we had a pullback and then we had a break. So like if you were to mark a zone here, right? Let's say here, you wouldn't leave this the highest area here like without like marking, right? Without covering, because you always like, because you think, because you know, right? There was a push, a pullback after we had a break of this low here. So that was our most recent high. So like, so what I mean is, like you don't want even though let's say this one had break below here, right? Like this one, but you don't want to just mark like this and leave the wick above. So like when you mark the candle, make sure that you always covering the high of the candle, no matter what. Okay. So let's continue. Let me delete this. Okay, right. So we are still on a daily bearish move. So let me also mark that this. Okay, let me mark these as. Okay, so this is our daily strong. Remember, this was the daily strong there. This was the daily strong when we had this push, the pullback. Now when we had the break here, the pullback, and the candle body closed below this low. Now the next strong point is this. Okay, so far we are still on a daily bearish trend. Okay, so like how can we map the other zones on this move? So like the first one would be here. The most like the nearest point to this move would be here. So like if since we are already on a daily bearish move, we could be taking shorts from here, right? But remember that we reached a very strong daily demand, and price is respecting this so far because we had the first signal that we might start pulling back deeper. Okay, so let's see this one. So like see this one here, right? So this one here, price came to mitigate it here, right? Like when it pulled back, it mitigated because you can see there that it broke the, I mean not broke, it pulled back to inside that box, which was this whole candle area here. So like sometimes price, just since we were talking about this, the mapping of the zones is not very straightforward like that. I think with you're gonna see why, but with time and experience, with time with experience, you're gonna be able to refine your zones and know when to refine and know where to leave like the whole candles like this. So let's I'm just gonna go over like the basics, because like refinement it's a little trickier, because like I said, like price is not like straightforward like that. It doesn't really move like perfectly. So the market is always like doing like some what he wants, like I said before. So in this case, we had like a reaction to a zone here, then we pulled back to this daily supply. So the most probable area for shorts would be here if this holds, but remember that we mitigated the demand, right? Okay, so let's keep playing. The next one would be all the way up here, right? So you see that this one didn't mitigate that. Like even though we could also have this zone there, because this is a buy to sell. So let's just leave this for a second and see what price is gonna do. Boom. Okay, we reacted. So here we had a bullish chalk, and now we had a bearish chalk. So let's keep playing to see what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna start here with the daily so you guys can have the overall idea, like how to mark the zones. Then we're gonna be jumping to the lower time frame. Okay, so let's continue. So price, we had a bullish chalk to come. Remember, like when we have the chalk, let me just, like, it's not gonna be very visible, but let me mark the daily chalk here. Where is it? Okay, all right, daily chalk, right? Same thing, like this would be the candle that we would mark for the daily, but remember that like here it came all the way down, so we could just like cover this whole candle, right? Because like even though like this candle, it like this candle broke above this, but you see that there was a sell to buy, so we could refine it just to the body and the wick, the lowest point. And you will see later on also, because I'm going to be showing you guys that think about like zones inside zones, right? So like this would be like the largest area because it's the daily. Inside the daily, this sell to buy here, we're gonna have another, maybe another daily here. I mean another 4 hour here, or maybe another 4 hour there. So like that's why multi-time frame analysis is so important, because it makes us like see the market and how everything is reacting a lot more clear. And another thing that you guys need to keep in mind is what I said about the chess. So like the charts and trading is kind of chess. So it's like demand against the supply, and it's this constant battle. You see, like if price comes here, try to mitigate something, then it push, come here. So like you can see that it mitigated this, then it push, come here, mitigate, then it comes here. Now it reacts because it stopped here. So it continues moving from zone to zone, right? So when we add the market structure, which is like the trends and lower lows, lower highs, and higher highs, higher lows, with the zones demand and supply, it makes it super easy for us to see what's going on. Okay, so after this chalk here to the downside, let's see. Let's just remove that one. That's fine. So we had a chalk here to the downside, right? But remember, because we had a first bullish chalk here, so this move here could be just to mitigate something here. So like if I was trading this, I would say like that price is kind of it's kind of stuck in between supply and demand. By the way, this D, it means daily, not demand. So price is kind of stuck between supply and demand. So like we could have just had this bearish shock to mitigate this, but I could still look for longs from here and shorts from there, since like we have like a lot of space to trade from. But let's continue here on the daily. Now that we had the bearish move here, we could just mark this guy. So let's continue. Okay, so these are now our new fresh, or like see here, like this candle is a little higher than that. So like even though this is the candle, like this this candle, the orange candle, doesn't break below this one, so this would be the candle, the orange. You could use all this, like everything here, but like you can just refine it to the body, and then make sure that you cover that high. Because sometimes price can come just to like very close to this, but still not break the supply, and then go back here. So let's play this. Okay, boom. Okay, so now we broke to the upside, but remember, we still on the daily swing bearish, because that is still a strong high. Let's see what's gonna happen. You see, again, we came to mitigate like this area here. Later on, I'll be going over like in a little more detail how you refine, because like I said, like this is a huge candle, right? Even though that, let me put price here. So you see, like there was a reaction to the area there. We had a pullback, and then we had a push, and then like this candle, it breaks, this candle breaks above that candle, but we saw that we mitigate here with this other candle, right? Because like it comes here, and then like price comes all the way down here, even though it's just one move. Like you don't, like when you see that price came like and there's a candle in front of it, like before the push, so like you mark the whole zone. You could even, like, if you don't want to refine the candle to make it safer, you could just like mark this whole thing here. You see, it still works, because it's still like you could mark like this, because we're gonna still drop to the lower time frame. Let's see what happens on the 4 hour here. So like you could still go to the lower time frame, and we would probably have, you see, like this 4 hour here, because we had a pullback and a push. So this would be a 4 hour. Okay, so 4 hour there, another 4 hour here, and see how price just reacts to this like extreme demand zone of the 4 hour. So like price came here, mitigated something inside there, and then we had a break. It broke the daily supply, which was that box. Remember that we had the D there, the daily. It came there, and then it pulled back to inside the daily zone, which we had the 4 hour demand here and the 4 hour demand here. But like you see, we could also have, you see like the refinement. Like, see what I mean? Like, so it's mostly if you're targeting, like, let's say you're targeting to enter a trade. Let's say you enter on a short here, right? So like if you're targeting somewhere, it's better to not refine it. And like I would go out here, because like sometimes like you can see that price already mitigated that. Let me just change. I hope you guys are understanding like what I mean about refinement. It's just like instead of using the whole candle, you refine to the body, or sometimes even like the top, the lower part here. But you saw that this part all also came down there. So I would just like mark like that. And as you can see, we had a small reaction. Even though it was small, it's still a reaction. But in this case, it didn't matter because price just broke through. So you could just like leave it like that, all right? And if we read price action, it just came here. So before it broke this high, it came here, pulled back, and then it pushed. So this was the last place before the push, the spike. Okay, so that means there was a lot of orders here that made this push go up there. Okay, so let's just continue, guys. That was just on like an example, like how you guys can drop from the daily to the 4 hour, and even more, like you could refine into that wick. Okay, so let's continue. Like I said, that's why I said that like even the refinement of the zones is gonna come with experience, because you guys will continue seeing over and over, and you see like, oh, price is reacting to something. Oh, okay, so it doesn't want to come all the way here because this is too much refinement. Like, oh, but it could be, instead of the whole candle, it could just have come here to the body, right? Okay, so let's see. Continue playing. Okay, so let's see what happened there. So price didn't react to this buy to sell, so we can just delete this one. And let's refine, let's change it to the top. Remember to use the magnet, because it kind of sticks to the top of the price. So you see that the orange one is lower than the white one. So you drag to the top there to make sure, right, that you cover the whole high of this move. Okay, so here, right, we had a reaction with remember what the orange inside bar means, that it was just a pullback. Boom, to then we had the move. Okay, so now that price broke this high, now we have this as our strong low. Okay, and now we have that like this. Okay, again, right, like push, pull back, push, try to break here, couldn't. It's still, but like it had to break that high to make the move up, but it just came here to mitigate this, and then boom. Another good example here that is not just because price like failed to break on the first time here that it's going to go up there. So like right here, right after we had this break, we would have this daily zone, and like see where it went and stopped. So it respected this daily zone and continue. And you see like that, like even later on, it continues to do like a supply chain, and only here we had the break up. So you see like how like just by marking the zones, it makes it so much easier to understand why price stopped here, came back, right? So okay, so now that we had the swing daily switch bullish, so like where do we mark now? Okay, so we have this extreme one here. So this extreme demand, because it's following all of this demand, This was the last point where price broke. So this would be the extreme demand. Okay, so extreme demand. And then now we would have this other demand. Okay, remember? Another very good example. So instead of just cover, even though that this candle broke on top of this, like you always need to cover the low as well. So like it would look like that. Okay, boom. So, and also what do you see? Because this came back here and pulled back up. I mean, the pullback, and then it broke the supply. So right now, after this move here, we would now mark this as a failed supply because it couldn't hold price, correct? I'm just gonna mark it. Like you see also that how we use like historical data to analyze and keep our, like I'm just gonna be marking this because this all makes sense to mark. Remember supply, this was the price that pushed before this move here. We had a pullback and then we had the push. So right now I would be looking at this. I could also be looking at this buy to sell area you see there, but let's see how price will react first because I can always mark this later. Okay, so let's continue here because we're now on a swing bullish move. And after the breakout structure, which was here to the upside, we can expect maybe a pullback. So it depends like how deep the pullback will be. Let's see, boom, boom, boom. Okay. So like how deep the pullback will be will depend on how strong is the trend, because sometimes it can just come here and continue going up, you see. But like let's play it forward. I forgot to mark this guy. And again, right, the sell to buy area here on the daily will be something on the 4 hour, will be like a small push and a pullback. Then we had the push again. We would have the 4 hour there. Let's see. So this is like even more probability now that because price broke this supply, and this supply. If it only breaks like with a little pip above, like I would already see this as a failed supply. Both of these ones now, right? Okay. So right now, okay, so price like barely touched that one. Let me see. Sometimes you can just remember to use the old, I always forget the name of these guys, OHLC values. So like if you right click on this name here, it's gonna open these values, which you can see like the high of the candle, it's gonna be displayed here. And like, let's see, the high of that candle is 0.222 and the low of this candle is 0.227. Oh, sorry about that. Let me use this, it's gonna be easier. 0.220. So yeah, it didn't really like mitigate it. It didn't got to there. Let's see on the lower time frame what happened. Yeah, so you can also see on the lower time frame that there was a buy to sell on there. You see. Boom. And it just like, I think it mitigated that. So that was the high, 0.22. I'm just looking at the price here. 0.2232 and 0.227. You see like it did mitigate it, this sell to buy area, instead of going to the nearest point here, which would be this in sidebar. Okay, so like let's just keep playing because this is just to get you guys an idea like how price move. It doesn't need to come all the way here or here, especially because it just switched to a bullish state. And remember, like when we see, okay, this was our swing, now you can mark this as a swing as well. And now you can have that as our strong low. Boom. Okay, again, we had this. We can mark this as our new demand chain. So because price came here to mitigate this, and we had that. And again, right? So like we had a small mitigation here. but I would probably just like mark this low part. Okay, so instead of the whole candle, because it already mitigated, but this is the same concept of the discount and premium, right? So like you don't want to buy like too high like this after a break. You want to wait until price comes to a discount area so you can buy at a better price. Okay, so now we are getting to this daily supply there. Let's see what happened. Price broke again. Okay, same thing, right? Now that we broke, so even though that, like we had this push here, right? So even though that this candle, like this candle breaks above this, but you see that there was a pullback that mitigated all this area. So I would probably just use this candle here, because this was like the lowest point of the pullback that pushed price up. And it doesn't mean that price is like it can't just come all the way down here, right? So I would just leave this there, and we can continue looking at price action. So I'm gonna try to go a little faster. So, but I hope you guys are understanding the concept. You see, now that we had another mitigation of this this daily supply here. So you see, remember, like the concept, we use historical data to analyze what's going on right now in the present. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, let's go to the 4 hour. So it's kind of sideways. Yeah, you see, like this was in December. December was very choppy. Like this was a recent, we are in February, so this was December, and I remember that it was kind of choppy that whole month. So we still have this whole daily demand here that we just marked, and we have this 4 hour demand right here. Let me mark this as the 4 hour demand. So you see, like I wouldn't do anything here because it's just like it's not doing anything. It's kind of stuck. Let me see what happens there. Yeah, we haven't had enough of a pullback to mark this as our swing high yet. So it's still, we had the push, pullback, and another push. So let's jump to the 4 hour and see what's going on. We have this demand here that hasn't been mitigated yet. Boom. So let's continue pushing. Yeah, you see there, price we try to break this high here of the recent daily that would be there. Let me see if we can see something. Yeah, so like we came here very choppy, right? So like price was just accumulating orders, and then we had our reaction to this 4 hour. Remember that even though this is like I would be marking all this, but there's no need because it was kind of just sideways, and this would be the extreme. So like when price is like this, you stay out of the middle and you trade from the extremes, which like the highest probability to continue high from here would be this extreme area here, and that we hadn't mitigated that area yet. Okay, so again we had this right now, right? So price broke below there. So we would have first this 4 hour. Remember that price is still inside of this daily, which is this one here. I'm just going to drag this down. And it respected because it couldn't break this high here. So we still inside of that daily supply. Price came here, tried to break that high again, and it couldn't. And then we pushed back down. And another thing is that you can see that we had a mitigation there. Let me use the straight arrow. Like you see, we had a mitigation of this little guy, and then like price push from here, we had a mitigation here. Okay, so like where did price like came from? All the way up here. So that's why I marked this demand. Oops, why is it not working? Let's see. That's why I mark this as the demand. But as you can see now, price has broken the demand. So we could possibly see price pulling back here to maybe continue down, or maybe, like, remember that this was our daily extreme, but I can mark this instead with a like a 4 hour to make it easier and cleaner on the charts. So this will be our 4 hour demand. Okay, so that was the daily there. Remember that this is still our daily strong, and we are on this move here. Boom. See like how here we had like a better push, and then on the daily we would see like this push. Okay. So we are trading between this low, which is strong low, and now that high, which was the weak high on the daily. Okay, but price still has respected the demand, I mean the supply. So let's see what's gonna happen. Let's push a little. Like after a push like this, you wanna wait to see price come back into this supply, or maybe coming back to this demand here, since we're already broke down here. Okay, so let's keep pushing. Okay, we didn't go all the way up there, but we still have that 4 hour here unmitigated, right? Because we didn't see any price action go back down here. Okay, so oh wait, I think I missed something. So I played it too fast. So let's see what happened here. Okay, so let's drop to the 15-minute, which is our it's the main time frame where we are looking like for high probability places to take trades. So right now we wouldn't be doing anything until now, right? Now that we touched the 4 hour demand. So let me just go back here. Okay, so guys, like remember, like we could have a chalk down here. Now we had a chalk, but like still, like look at the waves of price. Like we still on this bullish move, right? So like now we didn't respect this demand zone, which is here, this one. So price came here. It's a little harder with the bar replay because you can't really see like in real time. But we had this 4 hour here, remember? So we had this 4 hour and this 4 hour, which was the daily as well. And now price is reacting to this. So if we think about the fractal, okay, the fractal of the market, remember like the fractal structure is just a little pause. So we had a pullback here, a break, and now we have a chalk onto the upside. So we had a daily chalk. Let me see, daily chalk here. Oh, sorry, 4 hour chalk. That's why. Sorry, guys. 4 hour chalk. So now we had the 4 hour chalk to the upside. Of course, why it's not working? Let me try this again. 4 hour chalk dark. Okay. All right. Okay. So here, right? So we got to that 4 hour demand that was unmitigated. We had now a 4 hour bullish chalk. The swing is bullish, and we are rejecting this super. I mean, I wouldn't say super strong, but since it was like all the way down here of this move, and our like even like just by looking at now, I didn't see this before, but just by looking at this now, our swing 4 hour are also bullish. So let me see, boss, right? And then we still, okay. So we had this push, pull back, push again. All of this doesn't matter until like the swing is still bullish because price hasn't broke this low yet. So let me see if I have so we still have this as our strong 4 hour low, which will be that. Okay, so we are still inside a swing bullish. Okay, so swing bullish, daily bullish, even though we had a failure to close above this, but remember what I told you guys a couple minutes ago, that we can still like have a first reaction, come back, mitigate something, and still continue up. So right now that we had this 4-hour chalk, we could maybe go look for a trade on the 15. So let's see here. Since this is a little faster, let me also like play this on the 15 so we can see what's going on. Yeah, you see like our chalk on the 4-hour, which already happened, would be up there, like right there. Okay, because let me see. So we had, yeah, this swing. So I guess so we had this super like strong push here, and then we had the bearish boss, and now we had the reaction we saw on the 4-hour, and also we had this like bullish move, bullish chalk, which it's very hard to see because it was this one here. Like remember the fractal, we came here, boom, then we push down. So which one is the nearest point for a bullish chalk? It would be here. Okay, so we also had another bullish chalk. So I don't enter on the 15, but like later on maybe I can introduce you guys to like to take more like swing trades, but I would take maybe a 1 minute entry here. So let's see, I think the 1 minute would be better. But even if you wanted to put your stop here, yeah, too big of a stop. So I would probably be looking at the 1 minute, but let's just put it here just to see what's going on. If you maybe want to take the the swing path. Okay, so we could probably, let me look there. Yeah, you see, it already happened. But like we would have this daily, I mean this 4-hour supply and that 4-hour supply. You see, remember guys, daily swing bullish, 4-hour swing bullish. This is our strong 4-hour. And then we had the 4-hour chalk bullish and the 15-minute chalk bullish. So you cannot get any better than that. So if you're taking trades, you could take like some partials, maybe inside, like you see, like there's a 15-minute here, which you can mark. You see like how it stacks up one on top of the other, and there's another one here. This is a very choppy, so just so you guys can have an idea. So if you wanted to be safer, you could take, even with this crazy stop here, we usually have like a 5-6 pips stop. This is 20. You would have a 4.3 to this zone, and like if you wanted to maybe take 50% of your trade here, and then like maybe push a little further to this other 4-hour supply, which yeah, this is a very probable area because price might just push up again, but it's safer for you guys at least to target these here. And let's see, let's just play on the, yeah, this was a very, it typically don't move like this. So yeah, but again guys, if you wanted to be safer, you could just like measure, get out here for this target, or if you wanted to push a little more, you could come to here. All right, okay guys, so I hope you guys get the point and the concept of the demand and supply. This was a little extended, but I'm trying to do like larger videos for the practice and not like 10 small videos, because that makes it harder for you to understand. So I hope you guys have the patience to learn and to be like listening to these videos, because the whole concept is around this this method that I use. Okay, so remember, like practice like mapping your 15-minute zones inside of the 4-hour and the 4-hour zones inside of the daily zones. You see like daily here, and you can even like come here to like make sure that you have the right zone here. So like 4 hour daily, another 4 hour here, 4 hour. Okay. All right, guys. So again, if you have any question, just leave a comment on the video section, and I'll go over it with you guys in more detail if you need. Thank you so much.